So I think so many of us have been going full speed ahead during this time, nonstop, trying to innovate and push our businesses and keep team morale up. And I think that one thing that is very key for innovation is really creating the time and space to just recharge and be able to think critically and creatively. So that's just something that I've been encouraging my team to do is, like use the PTO, take your time off. We're okay now,
Yep.
and then also setting some time that is meeting free time, so that they can just, think about their work or think about larger problems.
It's a great point, Christine. I mean, so not so one of the practices I personally took up, Aaron, was writing a Sunday CEO note to my entire team. And my last Sunday CEO note essentially was uh, a new philosophy, probably, or I don't know the new philosophy which came out, but it was more of a compartmentalization of leadership. Typically, for the last 2 months, I mean, as you know, the India has been going through a absolutely horrendous COVID surge, right? So my morning started with just checking if every team member is doing well. How exactly am I sort of going to get them vaccinated? Hoping that they are safe. And then you really have to move into a next meeting, which you really have to have a very different level of conversation when you're talking about what are the overall sales numbers and how it is to go. And then you really have so I think that compartmentalization of leadership, one of the things that I have seen is, I mean, as you rightly mentioned, Christine, just taking a pause and telling the team members very clearly that it's fine, it's okay. I mean, it's just absolutely okay. And giving them that psychological safety, I think, is what you're talking about, right? That safe space where they feel empowered and confident to really work forward. So,
Totally.
yeah. Aaron, Michelle, Louis, any parting lines?
I'd say that innovation is usually driven from a need. There's a need that comes, and now we're all in the room trying to figure out how to solve that need and come creative. But I also think after we take that pause, that much needed pause that Christine talked about, if you have the time, innovate without a purpose. Just have some free innovation, fun, environmental time, take something and start thinking of creative ideas so that when the need comes, you'll have some plans already started that you can build off of. And so don't always wait for a need to come to start saying, hey, let's think innovative about this or about that, because now you kind of have a little bit of tunnel vision when you're trying to solve that problem. But just start thinking about what do you have and how can we use it differently? And just give it to someone who hasn't used it before and touched it, and let them just start molding and shaping it, kind of like child's play. So I think that we should also consider innovating without a purpose to see what comes out of that, and start building and having that library of creative ideas. So when the need does arise, you already have something to in your back pocket that you can go in and say, hey, what about that idea? What about that idea? So something to think about.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that actually triggers one for me. One of the best things that I did during this time was rip off Google. The whole side project, use 10% or 15% of your time and work on whatever you want to work on, side project thing. And it really did a couple things, I think, especially since people weren't in the office anymore. A, it made them really appreciate their jobs, that they had the ability to do this. B, I think they were working more hours on average anyway, so it's not like I got reduced productivity anyway. And C, it yielded some great innovation, per Michelle's point, because this wasn't innovation we needed. This was kind of employee-led innovation. And they entirely, every single one of them picked projects that, if they worked out, would have very tangible and material benefit to the company. And many of them did. And so, it accomplished so many things at once from an innovation standpoint, plus it resulted in employee morale gains. So I think empowering your people to innovate, even if that's way outside their job title, is a great way to go.
Fantastic. Louis, any?
I would say, well, question would be, what are we calling the new norm? Is it the new norm, or the return to normal, or the back to the good old days? Whatever it is.
I've heard it's BC and AC.
BC and AC. Yeah. Well,
Back to the future.
I would say, there was so much innovation that's happened over the last 18 months, but in all honesty, the roadway right now, starting now for innovation, is massive because people are trying to figure out what AC is going to be, and the opportunity for us as leaders and MarTech leaders to be able to kind of help craft and get people to the other side of this is just sitting there waiting for us. So I'd say we took a deep breath, but now's the time to really get those innovation engines going, because we're gonna see a lot of change over the course of the next year, I think.